all the Xenoxis. It's going to be the final one for today. They see the part 5 or part 6 now. I will probably not upload this today, though. And stuff that, maybe I upload one of them at least, and stuff that. That is crazy, though. I mean, it's understandable why they give you so much extra time there, but yeah, it's pretty bad. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go piss though before we start the race properly. I mean, it's so weird though. The guy that made a really fast time here. I mean, the car that has the fastest time is the same one as me there. Yeah. Okay, so his first sector is just a little bit better, his second sector is 2 seconds better, and the third sector is very comparable. But wait, that doesn't make any sense, right? 47. So how does he have 14 there? His fastest sector 1 is a 46 of 92. Okay, so that's about the second pass. Okay, so that's 1 second right there. The 36 there, so that's kind of 2 seconds faster. Okay, so that's 3 seconds total. And then the 29 there. I have the 29.617. He has that 29.246, so that's only 3 seconds. So that should only be like 7:23. He has a 7:14 best time. But that doesn't match sector times. But there's way more sectors than that. Yeah, there's way more sectors. Like, I'm like, oh, there's no way there's just 3 sectors. Okay, so fine. My last sector, 24k, that's bad. I'm fast on that sector 11 there. Okay. Okay, so there's only one lap. Okay, yeah, that's good. Traction control 1. I think we're still gonna go with that though. I think we're still gonna go with that. Traction control 1. Yeah. What do I... Oh, I've exit speed from corners with barriers infected. Do we use go traction control 0 on this? And it might be a really big mistake to do traction control 0 because it says, what does it say? I get this value that your tires will spin. Use engine power to prevent tires from spinning when accelerating. ABS is the anti-lock braking which prevents tires from locking when you brake. But this of course prevents you from spinning when accelerating. This means of course that you will lose. You won't start accelerating immediately even when you should start accelerating. That was the technical also. So about the driver's brake, the front on the ABS system and the control on it. I'm gonna have it set to that, I think, yes. So, let's start here. Okay, so not first. The Lamborghini is first, right? Porsche, okay, 911. So Audi, R2, McLaren, Ferrari F8. Number 9. You see there's a lot of like German cars. Nissan is of course. So there's some Japanese cars with the okay. Radar, yeah, there's no weather. Okay, good. Don't need to worry about the weather all under that there. Okay, so we're just gonna 4 minutes there on the recording there. I'm just gonna please stop that. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and take a piece of it quick, and then I'll be right back. But I think I'm still recording, right? Yeah, I am. I'm recording, right? Yes, I am. Okay, good. Sorry about that. Sorry. So I need to drink some water. The taste of the water is so different because it's a filtration system, so it filters out the bad stuff in the water. Okay, good. Okay. Good. Okay. Let's settle down. That's all. Section control 1. Section control 1. Section control 1. ABS. The default. Section control 1. ABS by default. Brake. Okay. And then controller. Set 0. Good. And it's 7. And it's 6. And then this is -0. There's no braking balance now. Yeah, the hands feel a bit weird. It always weird, like after I've gone on like the thing, like sometimes I have a certain sitting position, and then sometimes if I get into the wrong facing position, you know, like my body starts like itching and stuff. That sometimes, you know. Of course, that was. When I'm losing my positions, and you know, things that like why like that isn't something that should happen there in that corner, you know, and stuff like that. Then it feels like we're like, oh, now all of a sudden my car is way less grip than before. Kinda looks like there should be rain. Is the track slippery? What the fuck is going on? Why is it like, why does it feel slippery all of a sudden? It isn't showing up on the meter there that it's actually slippery track, you know, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe don't gain on that. You kind of do. The problem is, of course, if they get far enough away, again, as I said, like this is the thing that always feels like the most bullshit. Because here's the thing that how is the AI braking, right? You would figure out that the driving assistance that you can have on, right, should be like how the AI brakes, so that if you have the brake on, you should be able to brake just as good as the AI does, you know, and stuff that like that should just be the thing. But that isn't how it is at all. You know, it feels like really weird in my opinion. It's really being caught to the sand though. That's what they do. We calculate, of course, that if there's 50 events and there's like 20 stars in each event, then that's going to give us 1,000 stars if we get like the number 1 in each race. But we're not going to get that, of course, obviously. But still, that means that we have a pretty, like the highest thing that we need is like 900 stars or whatever, right? I don't know if it counts in those extra events, you know, and stuff like that, because why do they call them hidden events? If it says that there's 50 events and if the other ones count in all the other events and they don't like add up to 50, right, and stuff like that, then it might mean that, oh, there is a certain amount of endurance events. But maybe there are less events. Maybe not every path has a single endurance event. Maybe that's the case also as well, you know, that could be the case. Maybe it's just the 4 corners of the map, so there's only 4 extra events. Stuff like that, you know. Yes, we're in 9th place. Okay, so this green flag. It probably means that someone went off the track somewhere. Maybe we should use the continue on, right? As soon as possible and stuff that, Okay. It actually is interesting this situation because it's a pretty long straight here, but it's just, I always feel like the thing that you lose out on this track is you don't dare to drive like quick enough and stuff like that, right? Because the car can be hard to control, right? If you drive it up to too high speeds, Because it's a lot that you're playing chicken with yourself. Like imagine driving this track in like real life, like how scared you have to be, if you drive in certain of like a really, really high speeds, right? Like because you know that, oh shit, if I mess up here, then like things could go really bad. Maybe it's just that I have my, it's not a motion sickness, I don't think it is, but I always got like sick when like sitting in the car when going on like really, really long trips and stuff like that. I would always like get car sick and stuff like that, And I know there are all ways to kind of prevent that, because I had to take like certain specific, I think there were pills or whatever you have to take, and stuff like that. So yeah, whatever so that was when I was young and right. I don't get as much car sick now. Although I do remember there was a certain car game that when I played it, it was on the original Xbox. There was a rally game that was really good, and I will remember when playing that, I got like super sick. I had like a friend over, and he had to leave like because I like got so fucking sick. Like I felt like super super sick when I was playing that game. And I don't know if it was the amount of vibration in the game, because I'm pretty certain that there were games back then where you couldn't turn the vibration off, and stuff like that, right? There were certain games that used, they'd have that as an option, right? And I don't know if it was the vibration in that game, if it was the music that was, doing something, because there are music out there that you might not notice, that are music that can actually stress you out or whatever, and stuff like that. Because, yeah, there were actually cats quite a lot there, but still, it's gonna be. It's always very ominous clouds on this track. But the thing that would be interesting, right, is I'm all for endurance races and stuff there, but because I don't mind if there's not like super full endurances that you have to drive for 24 hours, right? Because in Gran Turismo 2 or in specific in 3 as well, there were like certain tracks that were obviously like meant to be like, oh, this track is going to be like 2 hours of this track, or whatever, right? And it wasn't that it was a 2 hours like time limit on the track. It was instead there was a certain amount of laps that ended up, okay, if you drive this car for this amount of laps, then it's just going to be like, oh, this track for 200 laps, or that's like a 3 or 4 hour like stage or whatever, right? Stuff that, right? And also the type of endurance is like, oh, like a 1 hour race could be considered an endurance, but it depends on the amount of laps, of course, obviously, right? Because if you set the timer to be like 1 hour, then that feels like really bad in my opinion, and stuff like that, Now the question is, are we going to be able to catch here? Some cars at least. Maybe we can get 6th place, maybe. It's just a little left of the track here. I don't know why. Because this weird, it feels like the track is wet on certain places, but it doesn't show up on the meter thing, and stuff like that. So it's just weird always. They were across the finish line, so maybe we'll the car here. Yeah, getting 8th place just. I'm happy with that, considering we didn't do a very, very good time there on the qualifying there. Yeah, so that is exactly the same car, the 1.1. Okay. Yeah, there were so many different cars here. Okay, so I started out at 9th place. I only gained 1 place, so we lost a bunch of places also, you see. We started at 9 and then we ended up at 8. Yeah. But we lost a bunch of positions there, like, well, what we went down to 10, right? I think we went down to, stuff like that, because, yeah, I don't know, sometimes it is like that it just feels like undrivable at the start. Is there that there technically is like a hidden high temperature on the track, maybe? But let's get the boom. Okay, European old timers. Guess what cost did you have here? We did have that. Okay, so those ones almost have the same amount of horsepower, except this one has way less RPM, and that's not naturally aspirated. Yeah, there's no way you have a wing that has those things on it there. As you can see, how the wing looks very different there. I mean, it's an RS, is what it says there, but you can see there that wing is not possible. Oh, that's why I'm pretty certain that all that specific wing looking like that at the back there, those black things there on the front of the car, those things aren't possible either, I don't think. This front here is not possible either, like the, might say that that's just like art or that's just like decals, but now there's like the engine there or something, or like, no, not engine, but you know what I mean. But this one looks different also. The V8 turbo is not there on the regular car, I don't think. The M4 doesn't look super different. That doesn't look like it has any unique things, maybe? So we have finished 19 races. Let's see how much content there is to this, stuff like that, Let's get the 4-star. But you can high roll on a 4-star, and I definitely feels like. But why would it be a lucky invitational here? Okay, this is our suspension for something. Vantage. What the hell is that vantage? Yeah. Why can't you make that use the case that, if you have it, then you should be able to go in here and just select install instead of having to choose it? Manufacturer. This car then. Part, please. For Lexus. Let's just do this bit quick. LFR Lexus. Lexus is. Okay. Subaru BRS. Wait, is it the 21 model? I think it was. Yes, the 20. No, it's the 15 model, damn it. But why couldn't they also just let you be on the what was you selected previously, so that's Okay. Not owned GR Corolla. And it's a 22 model. What is edition 22? This one. another model of it? Nope. Because I know that there are certain ones I have more models of. Okay. Okay. We have a drift car. Yeah. This is bar right, and I think I already have that installed on it. Actually. Because if you go in here, I think I already have it. Yeah, I already have that. But I feel like aren't there parts for certain cars that you can only get via the part system that you cannot get like the part normally? Most of that, I think that's the case as well. Okay. We got a Ferrari, right? Yeah, we got a Ferrari. And that one can of course end up with a pretty insane engine. It can end up like having over a ton of horsepowers. What's my... Is that the dashboard? Yeah, the dashboard is the best to look like. And we have 359 out of 556 cars. That's 92 cars in total. But I definitely think that they're going to change the collector level to be at least up to, to a certain amount. But I believe that this will just unlock automatically once you reach the points needed for it and stuff like that. You don't have to go and click it. I mean, you don't get a reward immediately, right? But that unlock for it will show up like once you reach 600. Okay. That will be 100 to get 120. That will be a 450 there. That's a $6 ticket for the car. What is the car that I will remember for? This off-runner is one of the ones I have actually. Oh. Is this four-wheel drive, by the way? Traction control 1. Yeah, this is four-wheel drive. Do we turn off the traction control? I'm a bit scared to do that. Why not change traction control? The thing is, I would have loved to be able to like I do think that here, the assist setting, if it's an option, that they should have the option to have the whole thing be there on all four-wheel drive cars. You should have the option on all the four-wheel drive cars, or at least here. You should have the option not to go into detail setting, but here you on the four-wheel cars you could have like an extra square here, and then you could have like you can select like to have it be the way it should be. Oh, can't set up the four-wheel drive on this one. Seems like brake balance is still TCS is still, but I'm gonna say TCS will go first here. That means this was 0. So I know what this car is meant to feel like normally. So I'm pretty certain I have this car already. I think I have this one, maybe it's maybe I'm confusing this with another car, maybe I'm confusing it with the Super Silhouette or something. So does this count as the, what do you call it, VTCC, right? I know that there's STCC, but STCC I think is the Swedish one, the STCC. You know, there's WT, a World Touring Car, you know, VTCC Car Championship, right? I forget what the thing was called. Was it VTCC afterwards? It was a certain series that were specifically connected, right, you know, with certain specific modified cars in a very, very specific class, you know, so that, you know, you would have like the BMW would be in that, you know, like the Volvo would be in it, you know, like you would have Volvos, the BMW would be in it, Mercedes would usually be in it as well, you know, so that, you know, like there were like certain very specific cars that were used in that, so it was called something, maybe it was VTCC, I would have thought. So this way though that there's an option here. So this is weird that on this car there is an option to control the thing here. Like to control the 4-wheel drive. This car feels really good. Because sometimes there are certain cars that are like pretty much done or made to drive in a certain series. Because I know that there is a German series or certain things, but I know that there are brands that aren't German that still are like racing in that, you know, thing. I think, if I remember correctly, I don't. Of course, there's been a long time ago, right, since those things were on television. It's not that right, but you know. So that song can record good. I mean, I don't know if it's taken going to be, because if it's going to be on the 11th, it might be that it's all the general shows on the 11th, like in, and it's the 11th in the US, right? It's not the 11th here, because that means that it's going to be on the 12th for us, basically. It's going to be at 2 in the morning and stuff like that, which, you know, and then usually like the and you know what, so the main problem is that it's usually like 3 hours, maybe even more. Sometimes it's like to the ends like at 5 in the morning and stuff like that, and then you fucking mess up your sleep schedule. You might say, oh, you can use the thing the next day, right? But then there's spoilers fucking everywhere. If you're going on X, then like there's going to be spoilers absolutely everywhere. The question is that activated quick enough? Or did I be able to make it quicker, or can be able to make the times quicker? Yeah, that's the fastest, and that's by a lot actually. Like a bit. So that's the thing that I say sometimes it's really like, does he have a really quick time on the stage for real? Otherwise, sometimes, and sometimes it's just like, oh, this is meant to be this is difficult, so like, why is this time like insane? Because I'm pretty certain that the AI never tries to take shortcuts. What is there a shortcut on this track that you could try and take it? Because of course there's a risk, of course, if you're doing like a... Because even if I improve the time slightly here, it's not going to matter that much. Unless there's an absolutely insane skip here that you do. That you can just do this. Yeah, that works. But that's not insane. That's not like as insane as you think. Okay, that's still very good though. It places me much closer to his time. Because of course if something is 4-wheel drive you should like have to have traction control on usually. But speaking, it's the thing is maybe I'm like way too late on going on the acceleration again. Maybe that's what I'm losing a lot of time on sometimes, Because I'm used to how certain cars are normally and stuff like you cannot use complete to the acceleration in any corner like this. Because otherwise you'd spin and you would end up off the track. It's challenging over the shortcut window. I mean, this wasn't that much quicker than most of that, but still. I think it was right here, it's right here, I think. I should use this. Okay. So let me improve this time though. Yes. Okay. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna be faster now, Oh, he's the same car, I think, as I am. It's insane though. Okay, so there's only 3 sectors to this track. There's not a 4th sector. I doesn't he have a time for 4th sector here? Yes, right. The Gallo set fastest. Okay, P-Ram managed to... Damn, a bunch of them managed to be faster than me, I think. Keep on racing hards. Mids are available and the heavyweights are available. Okay. So I even think that if they give you racing cars, that you should just stick to it. Traction control off. I wonder if it will remember that now. There's traction control 0. It says it's 0 there. And the traction control it says 0. And ABS default. That should be 0. 0. 7 and 6. Why did it become super loud there all of a sudden? Okay, so the first car is an Alfa Romeo, right? Alfa Romeo, yeah. Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo. Wait, is everything an Alfa Romeo? No, there's a Mercedes. And it's Buzz Mercedes, Evolution, and there's the BMW. There's an Evolution. There's just only one BMW, now there's two BMWs and trees. Evolution. Or Ford Sierra Cosworth, okay, interesting, that's a different one. So there's only one car exit, it seems like. I don't know. We need seems like I'm not going to be needing a bit, so no. It's begun to rain again, no shit, man. The question is, what is the most important now? Is it going to be the TCS keeping track of, or is it going to be the rain? Because, right, the 20 kilometers is pretty good to see how heavy rain is. Because the thing is, if I can be out when they go in, right, if I can do that, for example, like if I can go in, because you can see there, for example, you can see where the track is, right, but also you can see there, depending on what course the track is, right, is if you need to actually go in or not. So right, if they go in and change tires, it should only be if it's above a certain threshold, that's when you need to go in and actually change tires and stuff like that, right, actually. That's going to be the heavier ring there. That's not the darkest, right? Does that count as the dark blue? Maybe that does count as the dark blue, maybe. Worst thing, it might just break away extra now just because of the fact that it's raining. They seem to traction control, maybe they have. Then we need to turn on the traction control here. But not everyone went in. I should go medium. I'm setting traction control on highest though here. That's 5. Could like go in fuel change also as well, maybe. So see, here's the thing, it shouldn't be super wet considering the color here. because here's the thing, that the amount of rain that is currently is not heavy rain at all. It's like very, very light rain. Like it's like really, really weird. Like, why is it so? Usually when there's this amount of rain, it shouldn't be this slippery, and that's the weird thing, right? Because we did that other rain, we did it other states, right? That had like way more rain on it technically, right? Way more rain. So that, and it was like the car was fine. It almost this amount of like wet to it, and stuff like that, right? But then it's like traction control 5 should help a lot by the way, stuff like that, yeah. The thing that I'm banking on though is that this is gonna dry up. That their intermediate is gonna give out. Because if their intermediates give out, by the way, what 5 minutes game? That might be enough. What 5 minutes? Okay. I've done a couple of these trips today, but maybe we'll be able to do this. It's been going to increase, and then that means that it's like, okay, like it's raining all the time, it seems like. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going to stop raining, that's the problem. But here's the thing, like this is the lightest type of rain, I think. Okay, there's way less rain here, so if we actually drive the racing line, that's when it should dry up the most. The thing is, you'll be losing a lot of positions, but if they have to make a pit stop and I don't, it's weird, like why did I speed there when I spoke before this? I don't know. Maybe I can turn on the traction control eventually here. Because the thing is, if it's just very light rain all the time here, that could be really, really good. Because I know that intermediates doesn't last very long if it dries on. Or even if it becomes slightly dry, so that like the tires should start hurting. But that's usually how it works. The intermediates, I know that they don't last super long. They should be able to last on the way you could go at least. Because how come that little patch of rain wasn't that much patch of rain, right? At all when you looked on the map. Like that very, very thick rain must have been like a much more high intensity than normally it is, because normally if it's the blue color like that, if it's that darker color, then usually the amount of rain that should come in that amount of time, because the rain wasn't even for one lap. Like the actual, like the darker rain and stuff like that, which is like the more intense rain. It's like really weird, like it doesn't match what it's shown on the map here, it doesn't match it at all. I made a dumb decision in the beginning, maybe, because it shouldn't even have to get full drive for them, like for the intermediates to go off. Like if it's dry enough, then like the intermediates aren't going to last basically. So that it needs to be like heavy wet for the intermediates to last. this is going to be bullshit if they are able to actually go like all the laps that are left without having to change tires again and stuff like that. There's no way that the track is going to remain wet for that long. I feel like, it looks like it is improving the rain though. Try that it is absolutely bullshit if just live decision. I'm a fan of that. Like if it's like, oh, like because now of course you have to realize if they have to change tires, then they should lose a lot of time and stuff like that to have to do that. Before is enough for certain people now. Main problem though is when you're driving with the whole thing, with the whole, like the braking assist, then it will brake extra when it's raining, even if you don't really need to. It's weird. It's always like it just feels like the car goes like so on purpose. Might say, oh, it has to do with grip. Of course, yes, it has to do with grip and stuff like that, but it feels like, because you see the braking assist is kicking in way like earlier and stuff like that, because the braking zone changes when it's wet. I feel like this is going to be bullshit if they don't need to make another pit stop and stuff like that. Like, there's no way that the intermediates, I know how long they last. It's a lot of weight on the track, and there's no way that they last with long laps. Or maybe it's just made like that. That's how they coded the race, right? And then like, oh, it sucks to be you black and stuff like that, because normally there's no way that the intermediate tires even like break. But maybe it has to do with the tire wear. Maybe this track has very little tire wear on it, and even if you're like running with intermediates, you might, because also if that's the case, right, then you should have just started on intermediates on this track, right? But imagine, right, if we do this track again, if I would do this race again and I use intermediates from the start, and then we won't get any rain at all, and then the rain will just last way too short, That's what would be fun as well. Because the thing is, like, if you just had a retry there or something like that, that would have been really good and stuff like that. But there is no retry, there's just like a tire and stuff like that. Yeah, the rain is gonna end soon, it seems like. Almost. Depending on how long it takes to reach that point there. If that is even moving. Okay, someone went in. Does that mean that they're changing tires? Is it right enough? Did I make the correct decision? If they needed to do pit stop, then I do think that there's going to be way more cars that are going to need to make pits as well. And that was correct. And maybe they changed to intermediates again. okay, maybe we will have enough time. Galloping in. You see? I was kind of correct. But if I would have started with intermediates, maybe that would have been good and stuff like that. Because if one of them needs to hit, then I should be able to gain at least some positions. I'm still like way behind in like the times that I can do. So that's it. Honestly, how much is going to dry up now? So that it's going to dry up way more, because if it dries up way more, then like, because I don't think it's going to become fully dry, but if it becomes like more dry, because the laps are still pretty long, it's still over 2 minutes per lap, and if it dries up enough, then it might be that some are going to have to slap on the hards, because otherwise they're going to start spinning on the intermediates, because you can actually start spinning on intermediates fairly quickly, even with this amount of wet. This amount of wet here, at least in this part of the stage, is like not enough for me to last. Yeah, it's all going in again. I think it's already done like a bit before. And if they actually need to change tires again, then that's like good. Finally, oh wow, there's a lot of people now. Because if we need to change the mobile, then that's going to be a longer tire change than changing to the same tires again, I think, if I remember correctly. The time. Usually it's actually 22 now, maybe. Gotta take the risk. Now we're down to 211s. Now up to 6. Yes. Yeah, you see they had to change the hards. And his all and Lopez is still on actual like bets or bets. And I don't think it's time to turn off the TCS yet. So there are some places now that are completely dry. Man, the cars themselves dry the track, because the cars get hot, and stuff like that, so turn it down to 1 there. is he survived because he's so surprised, that's why. He saw that spawn would have probably my strategy obviously worked. If I wouldn't have spawned where I spawned, then I wouldn't have lost that much speed. Like this could be like a silly view. Still, if you consider how far down we were basically in terms of position, we weren't last place. I think we went down to 17th place or whatever it was. I think that was still insane. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this and see you all next time.